Yes, indeed. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, James L. Seagraves, coming to you live from the basement at 6:36 a.m. Indeed, it appears the league may indeed be in trouble, or trouble, perhaps. But luckily for us, that classic from the band Shampoo from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers soundtrack is so British you can't even tell if they're saying trouble or trouble. It's true. Let me move this mic or camera out of the way. So, we have made it through the Elite Eight, folks. We're into the Final Four. Who won? Who lost? Obviously, based on that intro with the Shampoo girls, a little bit of a spoiler, but I felt guilty kind of dogging on that southern half, that bracket there last week. So, you know what? We're going to give these boys some due because You're in Trouble has had monster weeks back to back to back here. So, we're going to get into it. And you know what? We're going to get into it real quick here. I just got to close this out real quick because I've never had a full-screen YouTube video on there. What I'll probably get a copyright strike for, but it is okay. It is what it is. That's the risk you take when you do the podcast. So, here we go. We're doing the recap. That's the game of the week, folks. And in case you weren't paying attention to this, this was the Apache Chiefs taking on Rob Jezierski's Better Bring Your A Game, who had a sizable lead going into last night. Now, last night, of course, is one of these stupid double Monday Night Football things where they have two football games going on. I hate it when it happens. Monday Night Football is supposed to be one game only, not two. But nevertheless, they had two games going on, and one of them, K.L. Seagraves. You might recognize him as, There it is! You recognize K.L. Seagraves from that Apache Chief Tomahawk Chop. Going into Sunday, he needed Saquon Barkley, who was on the Giants with Tommy DeVito as quarterback, to put up a lot of points. He was down by like 14 going into the night. And Saquon Barkley, over his own Green Bay Packers, it happened. 16.55 points for Saquon puts the Apache Chiefs over Better Bring Your A Game, who actually did bring their A game, but still lost because the Apache Chiefs brought their A+ for Apache and Tomahawk chopped those fuckers right down by a score of 92.21 to 86.12. Definitely not a shameful showing for Rob Jezierski, but wasn't enough to claim back the land, or defend the land, I should say, as the Apache Chiefs claimed it back, winning in stunning and somewhat ironic fashion. Bonnie Monahan last week tried doing the same thing, starting Patrick Mahomes against the Packers. Didn't work out for her. This week, the Apache Chiefs against his beloved Packers. Saquon Barkley, Tommy DeVito, who was not part of his lineup, still defeated them. Apparently, Deebo Samuel's the featured one because he scored 23 points, though. Nevertheless, the Apache Chiefs punched their ticket into the Final Four for, I believe, the second or possibly even third straight year. Oh, I should have a section up here called corrections. Real quick, let me just pause this here real quick if I could. Maybe. Nope. Nevertheless, we are going on. We are moving on here. There we go. Real quick, I do want to apologize. I apparently got some information wrong last week. Paul Wallenwine did not win the suck bracket last year. He let me know this. He actually made it to the Elite Eight last year. Scott Muckovitz won the suck bracket last year. And I don't know, I'm living in an alternate world, I guess, because I swore that was not the case. But apparently it was. So, I will do, I'm doing this all basically improv, off the cuff. So mistakes can be made and sometimes are made. So yeah, back to that. Scott Muckovitz apparently won the suck bracket. So, whoops, that's on me. Nevertheless, back to the recaps. Here we go. The other Final Four games saw what Rob Shaw himself declined as a barn burner when it was 22-24. But they still had a lot of guys to go, as you can tell, because Puka Nacua Matata comes back. Actually didn't come back. He actually was beating most of the game. Thanks again to Deebo Samuel, another star player for another great guy. Another great performance. Deebo Samuel, 23 points, who was on all these rosters, I believe. I'm not sure if he was on... He was not on Better Bring Your A Game. That might have been the difference. But he was on three of the four top half of the team's bracket. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Josh Allen, C.D. Lamb, Louis Diana brought the players. Who's going to be left for this week, we don't know. But the Hitman, who had one of the best years in the history of MUSL, was on top for most of the year, finally gets a welcome to the MUSL courtesy of veteran owner and former champion Louis Diana going in to the Final Four. And then we go down to the other half of the bracket. Bleeding Blue Bombers, Paul Wallenwine couldn't quite beat him as Pat Provost Sr. maintains the Provost legacy, putting another Provost towards the top into the Final Four. Might not be Junior, might not be the 3rd, the 4th, the 12th, but Pat Provost Sr. Bleeding Blue Bombers over just here so I don't get fined. 88.96. Brandon Aubrey is so irrelevant, even though he was the MUSL All kicker. Apparently there's not even a graphic for him, but still, led by Brandon Aubrey, Mr. No Face himself, 23.5 points as the Cowboys, rightfully so, manhandled the Philadelphia Imposters by 20 points. That's 2 straight games. The Eagles finally got what was coming to them, and I'm so happy about it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a Lions fan. I know the Eagles are better than the Lions, but I'm telling you, the Eagles are the most overachieving team in the history of sports. They barely beat bad teams. They won against the Bills on some BS calls. I hate to say that, but it's true. And then they got punked by the 49ers and the Cowboys back-to-back weeks. And I'll tell you what, I couldn't be happier. Because finally, some justice is due for those cocksuckers. Anyway, just here so I don't get fined was led by Deebo Samuel. Wasn't enough. Jalen Hurts! Of course, the aforementioned Philadelphia Imposters. 3.44 points in the biggest game of the season for Paul Wallenwine. That's why you don't start the Eagles when they play good teams. Just saying. Listen to me. I won 5 games all year. Nevertheless, Deebo Samuel, there he is again. Another team started him. You're in trouble. Puts up a hundie in the Elite 8. That is a very rare achievement to have this many good players left. So, Dak Prescott, Saquon Barkley, who is a savior for the Apache Chiefs too, Deebo Samuel, David Njoku, no joke, and Njoku scored 19.55 points, which is why You're in Trouble has us singing the Shampoo Classic this Tuesday morning as they defeated Josh Crampton's Tallywhackers 100.77 to 78.76. Congratulations, you're moving on. Going on to the suck bracket, the Donkey Punchers found Square Deal down in Florida and said, hey, your popcorn is 3 years out of date, and so is your lineup strategy, as they started Jordan Love, who was apparently 3 years behind, went back to his fucking lackluster skills and performance as the Donkey Punchers moves into, I believe, the Sweet 16. I don't even know where they're at right now. Paul Ward, Mullen Incorporated over Cheechke, 63.02. Started DJ Moore against the Lions. Always a smart bet because they can't stop anybody. And then we have Brady's backup starting 0. Brady's backup, are you kidding me? You won a game, moved on to the next round, and you started 0 people. Steel City Sackers, they put up a lineup and they won. They didn't need to waste these people, but they did. Malcolm Rodriguez in the middle of my thighs put in a lineup, which she might as well not have. As Cooper, I look like a police sketch drawing cup, is leading the team here for 50.75 for 2 girlies, 1 cup. Ironic that he actually starred for the team of his namesake this week. Then we have Bracy Trudell's 89.2 over Hurts So Good. Parker Dalton, he is a big Eagles fan. Rough week for him as they got punked almost as bad as the Eagles did, but not quite. 75.28 points, pretty good points at this time. Congratulations, Deebo Samuel's everywhere. He's like Tyreek Hill last week. And Bracy's wife, Jamie, put up 106 in Week 14. Over. Password is Taco. Don Valenti. Season is over, but we'll see at the playoff challenge, hopefully. And then there was Chop It Off. It'll make you stunning and brave. Another Provost. Defeating Hernandez Hitman, who did not feel the need to submit a lineup. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. And Dollar Bills, y'all. Couldn't quite beat True Blue Wrecking Crew. Roger Brewer moves on as Debo Samuel stars again. And then Kakambas didn't submit a lineup. Hitting Rugs. Mason Bradley keeps the Bradley hopes alive. In a game that both teams did start lineups, Sewer Bombs, Craig Kissel kissed the Sag Nasty notch above top notches goodbye. 96.97, more Debo Samuel action. Rashad White, never seen his picture before. Nevertheless, he helped Gary King beat, I don't know what just happened with the radio there, Digger Phelps, 74.26 to 66.06. Brock Purdy, big starter this week. Justin Fields, everybody starts people against the Lions, and why shouldn't you? I could run for 100 yards against those bums. My ball Zachers, Don Knapp over Brady's balls. Corey Brewer. One Brewer wins, one Brewer loses. 67.51 to 60.62. Garrity's Gigolo said, why start a lineup when DJ, I am not the illegitimate son of Michael Strahan. Moore looks just like him. Not really, but somewhat. I can see it. No gap in the teeth, though. But damn, he's got Strahan's eyes, I'll tell you. Patriots with Dak Prescott, DJ Moore, and Ezekiel Elliott. Starting his own player there, Ezekiel Elliott. And when BVC defeats the Mad Scientist 67.22 to 49.68. And that is that, folks. That is your weekly recap. I don't know where my power or play buttons are, but... So that's it. Here we go. We're going to look at the muscle bracket now. We're going to click this playoffs link, and we're going to see where we're at, how we got here. Our final four in the North. You have perennial playoff team. You have back-to-back, I believe, Final Four appearances. And you have an always formidable owner and your two-time owner of the year, the Apache Chiefs. They have made it once again, folks. They can't be stopped. They're in the Final Four. I should probably do research on these things, but he's definitely been in the Final Four multiple times, Elite Eight multiple times. Guy can't ever win a real fantasy league, but he's very good at this. So, the Apache Chiefs, congratulations, you're in the Final Four. You will be taking on the former MUSL champion, the Final Four attendee of last year, the former manager of the Wireless Zone, Louis Diana and Puka Nakua Matata. One more time. Let's go. I'm going to drink. There it is. That's your matchup right there. The Apache Chiefs versus Puka Nakua Matata. And then we do not have, well, maybe I do have, actually. I don't have anything for Bleeding Blue Bombers, but nevertheless, Pat Provost Sr. will be squaring off against the... sorry, I'm looking for this stupid stuff. They will be squaring off against the aforementioned You're in Chubble, who I feel, just because I've done the other ones, I got to come up with some Bleeding Blue Bombers, but I have to do it one time if I can get it going here, wherever this thing is. There it is. Here we go. Probably get a copyright strike again, but it's fine. There we go. Yeah. It's a jam, man. The video is hot, too, by the way. Not hot like, I mean, whatever. But it's just, like, ridiculous, and I love it. You're in Trouble. Kyle Stoker is in the Final Four against Pat Provost Sr. So those are your Final Four matchups, folks. Keep in mind that all four of you have already won $50 on top of your regular earnings for the year. You've already won $50. The winners of these games will go on to face off in the championship game, and the losers do not poll, whoever did this, I forgot who it was, last year, maybe 2 years ago. Somebody didn't realize there was a third place game, even though they've been in the league for a while. And they definitely got randomized in the third place game, because there is a randomizer in the MUSL bracket, let's not forget. Which, if you're in the MUSL bracket, you get randomized, you should probably contemplate your life choices. But still, there we go. So the winner of these games will go into the championship game. The losers will go face off in the third place game worth another $50. You can double your prize money, folks. So there's that. We go down to what is, I believe, the Sweet 16, maybe the Elite 8. I think it's the Sweet 16, though. And the suck bracket, we have Donkey Puncher taking on True Blue Wrecking Crew. Hit and Rugs. Mason Bradley taking on Craig Kissel as the Sewer Bombs take on Hit and Rugs. Now, Gary King, listen up. Listen up, Gary. Joe Buck yourself, I told him specifically in this podcast, shows who watches these and who doesn't, you have to submit somebody. Even though you're not really playing anybody, you have to submit somebody or else you will get a 0 and thus lose. According to this, the tie won, which is funny. But still, Gary King, you're not playing anybody, but submit somebody. Just start a defense and a bunch of scrubs. Please, please, please. Gary King, you're too respectable to not put in somebody and move into the next round. Then we got Don Knapp taking on James St. Germain. James can't get this app to work. Germain, that's his nickname. Well, that's his wife's phone, actually, but still. It was nice chatting with you this week, though. And then BVC taking on Paul Ward as Mullen Incorporated takes on BVC. This has to be Sweet 16. Dustin Hanson, Steel City Sackers taking on Austin Pollard, DeMar Hamlin's booster shot. He's got a subscription service for that, for winning, just like the subscription service for COVID-19 vaccines. Because he wins every week. 2 girlies, 1 cup. Doesn't have Cooper Cup to play anymore. Taking on Bracy Trudell and Suck It. And then the Nuts. Oh, this is a big game here, folks. Even though it's a suck bracket game. If this is a regular muscle game, this would be hyped to the max. As Pat Provost taking on Jamie Phelps in the last game of this. Now, this does mean that if the Nuts and Suck It wins, we will have a husband-wife battle in the 2, 4, 6, 8. The Elite 8 of the Suck bracket. So this is the Sweet 16 of the Suck bracket. So there's that. That's what you have to look forward to. Super Squares. Let's look at this. My bad on not updating the Facebook page at all. This is a really busy time for me. I finally took the Blood Bash movies all the way down from 1,526 official, 1,523 really movies, down to 50. That was mostly done this weekend, or this week. So yeah, I'm a little burnt out. I'm a little twisted, like I want to murder a bunch of people, but it's fine. Not really. I don't. It's just I feel like I do because I've been watching so much horror. But in what would have been an awesome update had I made the Monday night preview, Nick Harris needed 2 teams from the 4 stupid-ass 4 schedule on Monday Night Football to win. Needed the Giants and Dolphins to both put up a ton of rushing yards. And luckily for him, the Packers can't stop anyone that's not named the Detroit Lions. So, Nick Harris, the Giants and the Dolphins. Nick Harris, let me just tell you, Tommy DeVito ran for 71 yards, man. Gotta give the kid credit. It's pretty good. And they beat the Packers, which I loved. And then the Dolphins, sad state of affairs there. They won Nick Harris some money, but they lost the game. What do you think they'd rather do? Nevertheless, Nick Harris is our back-to-back Squares winner. So that has not happened all year. It does not happen very often. Mike Kimmel and Hannah Kimmel won, I guess, back-to-back earlier. But nevertheless, different Squares as he had the field, and this week he has the New York Giants and the Dolphins. So Nick Harris, congratulations. You've won money. Real quick, if you're watching this podcast, chances are you actually already know this already, but I do want to throw in a couple of things. Number one, if you want to watch the Lions, my son will be hosting the first part of that this weekend, which got flexed to Saturday night. I have to DJ, so my son will be running that portion until I get done, which hopefully is at 9 o'clock. They say it's going to be early night, which I personally don't like because that means people aren't dancing. But if they say, hey, you're done at 9, whatever, works for me. So everyone's welcome to come out for that if you want. And then also, do keep in mind that, because people don't pay attention to this, even though you might be out of either of these brackets, we come back during the NFL playoffs. I say it every podcast. So if you're watching this and your friends in this league aren't watching this, tell them, yo, When the NFL playoffs start, whole new league begins, basically, as all the players are reset and everything. So that's it. Look at that. 20 minutes, 27 seconds, and I'm out. Have a good day. Take it easy.